because as far as he understood, they just agreed to pay some money some time ago for the expansion of the GO services. The air rail link is being done as a federal project according to the province. The province, there goes one of the trains that's going to go past these people every 90 seconds. Imagine every 90 seconds that kind of noise, that kind of vibration, and worse, that kind of pollution. So Mr. Baird is hopefully going to look into this. Mr. Baird is going to be the person that maybe can make a difference, where the politicians that represent us in both the federal and the provincial legislatures in these ridings have managed to do nothing over the past 5 years to make this a livable construction project. To make this so that people like Ryan here, whose lungs are forming and whose lungs are breathing this pollution today, if this isn't corrected by the time Ryan is a little bit older, his lungs will be permanently damaged. That's the result of it. That's the result of a study in California that proved that little lungs are the most hurt by particulates and by nitrous oxides that come from these trains. And that damage is reversible. But we've got to act now. We've got to make those trains be electric now. Not 15 years in the future when he's too old for any corrective action. We need to make sure that no more trains go on this line unless they're electric. That's our message. That's what our constituents have told us. The people that live in these ridings that have sent some fairly ineffective MPs to Ottawa, and apparently ineffective MPPs, at least in my riding and Andrew's riding, because we have a very vocal MPP in Peggy's riding, who is an NDPer. Those Liberal MPs have done nothing. In fact, their position to us has been, my government has told me what this is going to be, not the other way around. I'm not going to Queen's Park or to Ottawa to tell the government what to do. I'm being told the opposite, and that's not how representation works. We don't have representatives who go to Ottawa to let them, meaning Ottawa or Queen's Park, tell us what to expect. Instead, we want our representatives to take our message to them. So, having failed to do that, Andrew and Peggy and I went to Ottawa yesterday, met with the minister, got the message to him. We're going to be following up with him. Hopefully at some point we can meet with Ms. Wynne, though thus far she has refused. We hope that she will meet with us and that we can actually bring these concerns right to the minister and eventually to the premier. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Ryan, for
I think
bearing up.
once Terry grabs Ryan, I think Terry has something he wants to say.
Yeah, it'd be good to open it up to the community.
Terry, what do you want to say?
Well, the pollution, my little boy here, he already on puffer.
Yeah.
So that's my most important issue here is that for him, when this train started, like as you said, it's gonna get worse. Like 400, you said?
Yeah.
400, and so that pollution there, he's only 2. And he already, like, I have to take him to the doctor, probably might go on puffer already. So my concern there is the pollution. We already passed the banging and the noise, where I spent a few $100 repairing my house, which I didn't know who to go to when there was the heavy noise and the heavy banging. So the vibration it's terrible. That's my issue.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to? Do you want to say anything about this?
Sure. I came out this morning to hear what you guys had to say, and I'd like to thank you for coming out. It's nice to see politicians coming to the neighborhood when it's not an election. When the pile driving was going on, I called Tony Ruprecht's office, and they were just apathetic. They just did not care one bit. They said, well, they got to do the work. So it's nice to see that
is just keep the pressure on so that they do it once, do it right, they make it electric from the very beginning. The only way that's going to happen is if the neighbors who live around here and all along the tracks keep the pressure on, and we have to keep this in the public eye.
And also the benefit of the participants not in the
That's right. That's right, you can have more stops if it's electric for sure.
like to thank you all for coming today. We really appreciate the fact that you've made the time to come down at I know it's short notice. And it speaks volumes to your own commitment to the community that you live in and the community that you care for. And we'd like you to know that we're here because we feel this is important. And this is important to have representation that will send a clear message to the people that make these decisions. And that's what we're here to do.
And, you know, these are good communities that, you know, people live here, they look after their houses, there's young families that live in the neighborhood. And in a city like Toronto, we've got a diverse group of neighborhoods. We have to ask ourselves, would this happen in Rosedale? I don't think it would. This wouldn't happen in Rosedale. The community there would be up in arms, and the politicians there wouldn't stand for it. They would say to the provincial and the federal governments, there is no way you're going to send these electric trains through Rosedale. Well, our message is these communities are every bit as important as Rosedale or any other part of the city, and our message has to be we want respect, and that means go electric. So thank you everybody for coming.